Children of the Wind. There is something beautiful about seeing the young athletes at the Olympics running, jumping, flipping, and strutting. I'm not a big Olympics fan, a bit too much flag waving for my taste, but the quadrennial sports event has become a virtual parade for a plethora of African American, African, and Jamaican athletes. Little Grenada, a teardrop of an island in the Caribbean Sea, exulted over its first and only gold medal. And an adorable little girl captures the hearts of millions when she scores several gold medals in gymnastics. Of course, I refer to teenager Gabby Douglas, nicknamed the Flying Squirrel, who, with her strength, agility, and flashbulb of a smile, made years of hard work and bone-shattering pain look like fun. When a friend told me the youngster was being criticized online for her hair, I was dumbfounded. She dismissed the flurry of discontent with a sense of maturity far beyond her years. For a brief moment, black girls came over the idiot box, not as vixens, strumpets, or rump shakers, but as beautiful, talented young people who dazzled with their sheer athleticism and total brilliance. Be beautiful. From Imprisoned Nation, this is Mumia Abu-Jamal. These commentaries are recorded by Noelle Hanrahan of Prison Radio. Venus again. Fans of women's tennis had an unexpected treat when Venus Williams fought her way into the finals of the premier event in world tennis, Wimbledon, in England. Wimbledon had long been considered the crown jewel of the game, and a place where the title of champion takes on added resonance. Seated 23rd, few expected Venus to make her way through the challenging brambles facing her. But the 27-year-old tennis star had an unusual source of inspiration this year, her baby sister, Serena. Serena's cramp in her left calf muscle while playing against Russian player Daniela Hantukova sent her down to the patchy field of grass and earth in a shower of tears and pain. Serena's pluck in coming back from an extended rain delay and her subsequent loss to Belgium's champion Justine Henin fired up Venus enough to lead her to the championship match at center court. Venus later told an interviewer that Serena implored her, "If you don't do it for you, do it for me." She would face an unexpected and unpredictable opponent in Marion Bartoli of France, who was incidentally higher ranked than she, who proved game and willing to battle in her first outing in the finals. Yet the match held none of the drama nor plot twists of her epic bout against fellow American champion Lindsay Davenport, who came within a hair's breadth of beating her before fortune blew her winds of change upon the game. Bartoli played her way into the finals by upsetting some of the best women's players in the game, including number 3 seed Serbian Jelena Jankovic and number 1 ranked Justine Henin. She was a childhood acolyte of tennis great Monica Seles, shown by her two-handed backhands and her gritty unwillingness to cede either a point or a game. Yet this Seles clone, like her heroine, would not win this Wimbledon. She didn't have enough to douse Venus's dream in tears. Playing before tennis legends like Billie Jean King, 6-time Wimbledon champion, Martina Navratilova, 9 times, Steffi Graf, 7 times, and other great players, Venus, taped and limping slightly from a sore thigh, performed like the champion that Wimbledon proved her once again to be. By this mark, she joined a rare group of women tennis players who have won over 4 Wimbledon championships in the Open era, the most coveted of trophies, the golden plate of the All England Lawn Tennis and Cricket Association. In the world of sport, it was a singular achievement. For the 6th time in 10 years, a Williams has walked away with Wimbledon's top prize. They give a whole new meaning to the phrase, the family cup. In the world of women's tennis, their names will ever be linked with champions. From Death Row, this is Mumia Abu-Jamal. These commentaries are produced by Noelle Hanrahan for Prison. The best? Folks know I'm a tennis fan, as shown by my pieces on the magnificent Williams sisters. But in men's tennis, there's one name that equates to the best in the game, Swiss player Roger Federer. He played an outstanding game with 20-year-old Serbian phenom Novak Djokovic in the U.S. Open. He beat the young Serb in straight sets, and by so doing set a standard not seen since Big Bill Tilden won 4 consecutive wins in the U.S. Championships back in the 1920s. In the first 2 sets, Federer actually came from behind to win. In the second set, Djokovic led by 4 games to 1, only to see Federer utilize his serve to inch his way back by tying him and then dominating in the second tiebreak. Truly, Roger Federer is a master of this game. With moves described as ballet-like, 11 aces, and a brutal return game, Federer outclassed a game-young opponent, the same young man who beat him several weeks ago, by scores of 7-6, 7-6, 6-4. In the world of sport, he's in a class of one. From death row, this is Mumia Abu-Jamal. These commentaries are produced by Noelle Hanrahan for Prison Radio. LeBron's rise. For Miami basketball superstar LeBron James, 2012 is his year. His time out of the wilderness, his arrival. A formidable high school basketball phenom, his time as a professional has been one of conflict and chaos, jumping ship from the Cleveland Cavaliers amid boos, catcalls, and cries of traitor. When he and Chris Bosh left their respective teams, the Cavs and Toronto Raptors, for the Miami Heat, they were assailed by the sports media for daring to decide their own destinies. For athletes are supposed to be told what to do, not make their own decisions. And when the Heat lost the 2011 championship to the Dallas Mavericks, 2-4, the ridicule, the catcalls got even louder. James and Bosh left their former teams after 7 fruitless seasons, hungry for gold. James, Bosh, and Miami's Dwayne Wade, a scoring leader for the NBA as recently as 2009, formed the threesome who would take Miami back to the prom. And they played one of the most thrilling b-ball championships in modern sports history. That's because despite the scoreline, the Oklahoma City Thunder played smart, tight basketball. They turned the tables on Miami enough times to give their coach a coronary, and they wanted to win. But ultimately, there was too much heat for the Thunder to prevail. James, Bosh, Wade, and the Heat team conspired to make it happen. They call him King James, because now he is. From Imprisoned Nation, this is Mumia Abu-Jamal. These commentaries are recorded by Noelle Hanrahan of Prison Radio. Alan's Lament. The great black writer James Baldwin once said, "They saw themselves as others had seen them. They had been formed by the images made of them by those who had had the deepest necessity to despise them." In a sports field known for the flamboyant and for sheer spectacle, the basketball star who wears jersey number 3 stands out among his peers. In a sport where tall and big men dominate, he is neither. Of modest height and slender girth, he plays as if he is the biggest, strongest, and baddest man of the bunch. His name, of course, is Allen Iverson, captain and shooting guard of the Philadelphia 76ers, who recently sent the city into a tizzy when he spoke candidly about his fears while dwelling in the city of brotherly love. In that recent interview, the NBA star explained, quote, "I want to be in Philadelphia, but I'm scared now to be in Philadelphia. I've heard about police officers toasting to Allen Iverson's next felony conviction. It scares me because I know if there's any crooked cops out there, they can do anything. Allen Iverson can end up dead tomorrow if a crooked cop wants him dead. It's as simple as that. It really scares me, man." Unquote. The noun to which he referred was a recent arrest on unfounded spousal abuse charges, which the local and national media blew up all out of reasonable proportion. Although these charges were later thrown out, local authorities provided the rapacious media with a ritual and obligatory perp walk, where the accused is paraded before the flashes and pops of TV and print media cameras. Iverson had to spend hours in the city's grimy and repressive detention facilities. Doubtless, the talented NBA star learned something about the nature of the police media system in Philadelphia. He learned that neither of them cared about him, no matter how many points he scored, nor how many dollars he earned. He might be a millionaire, but to those in power in the city, to those who wield the powers of force and prosecution, he was just another nigger, just more human fuel for the machine to consume. And it scared him. There are those in white civil authority who resent the fact that a young black man like Iverson can make the money he does. They're also no doubt resentful that he wears his hair in braids and opts to dress in the hip-hop style of his contemporaries. He doesn't wear $500 Italian suits or look down upon the class from which he came. They want to bring him to heel, to humble him for daring to be so proudly reflective of his own ghetto style. He senses this, and like any thinking man, it scares him. And when he speaks this truth, this powerful truth, the white corporate media seems somehow offended that he speaks such a truth and uses its terrible power of persuasion to somehow, any which way, get him to say that this isn't really what he meant to say. But he knows, for he has lived too long in American ghettos and has seen countless homies get caught up in the relentless jaws of the state. He's seen it. He knows it. If you're a black man of means, especially a sports star, you're expected to take the money, smile, and shut your mouth, or smile and sell something like a grill. Iverson is one of those sports stars that smiles when something is genuinely funny and seems unwilling to jaw or ham-bone his way through his career. He's by any measure a phenomenal player who often scores a third of the team's total points any given night. He's played despite aching joints, sprains, and an occasional broken bone. He plays like a Zulu warrior wages war, all or nothing. To some, apparently, that is not enough. They want his black soul, and Iverson, a smart man, a brilliant athlete, who can peep a move being made on the other side of the court and counter it in the blink of an eye, is scared of what he sees. Who can dare blame the seer? A century ago, Jack Johnson was targeted for his choice of women, white ones. Ali was condemned for his choice of faith, Islamic pacifism. And today, Iverson is rebuked for speaking the truth. I think he's in damn good company. From Death Row, this is Mumia Abu-Jamal. These commentaries are produced by Noelle Hanrahan for Prison Radio. Dennis. For former NBA star Dennis Rodman, the world may seem to be at war with him, but it is not. For the media is hardly the world, and the world is hardly the media. It is the private property of the wealthy and the tool of the state. And this is especially so when its target is a black person. For daring to visit North Korea, Rodman has been subjected to ridicule and baited by journalists who have no right to ask him to perform a service for which he's not been trained. For Rodman isn't a diplomat. He's one hell of a basketball player. Isn't it strange that the U.S. State Department has no real influence in the country, and the retired basketball player does? Or that the nation with more prisoners than any nation on earth dares complain about one American prisoner? Rodman has nothing to apologize for. The U.S. complains about Korea's political prisoners. What about Leonard Peltier, the Move 9, the Cuban 5, Dr. Mutulu Shakur, Russell Schultz, or, for that matter, Chelsea, formerly known as Bradley Manning, or the released Len Stewart? Dennis, an alleged U.S. citizen, can go anywhere he wants, and he should be able to do that without the harassment of a corporate sensationalist press. From Imprisoned Nation, this is Mumia Abu-Jamal. These commentaries are recorded by Noelle Hanrahan of Prison Radio.